They love to call compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. It's a quote often attributed to Albert Einstein, but there's no real proof he ever said it. Financial advisors have preached this gospel for decades. Save consistently, reinvest your earnings, and let time make you a millionaire. But if that's the ultimate path to wealth, why are so many people who followed the rules still broke by 60? You see the charts in the books with that perfect, beautiful upward curve, and then you look at your own account statement. It's a jagged, disappointing line. It feels less like a wonder of the world and more like you're just stalling. Here's the truth they don't tell you. For the average person, the promise of compound interest feels like a lie. It's a fantasy sold by Wall Street to keep you playing a game you can't win. In this video, we're going to expose why the math just doesn't add up for most people. We'll break down the invisible forces that are quietly stealing your returns and reveal the secret of how the wealthy really use compounding, not to get rich, but to get richer. This isn't about hype. This is about clarity. Let's start with the classroom definition they feed us. You invest $1,000. You get a 10% return, so now you have $1,100. The next year, you get 10% on that $1,100, and you have $1,210. Your interest is now earning interest. It's a simple formula. On paper, it's perfect. The problem is we don't live on paper. The real world is messy and chaotic. It's like they show you a map of a perfectly straight road, but forget to mention the potholes, the market crashes, and the fact that the road is constantly going uphill. They sell you the dream of get rich slow, but for most, it's just stay poor slowly. Here's one example. Between 1900 and 2005, the Dow Jones Industrial Average had an arithmetic average return of 7.3%, which looks amazing on paper. But when you factor in the ups and downs, the actual compound return was just 4.92%. That meant $1,000 became about $162,000, not the $1.75 million the textbook promised. The difference between the math and the reality is staggering. So let's pull back the curtain and meet the three villains of your financial story. The reasons why your compounding machine feels like it's stuck in first gear. This is where the lie begins to unravel. Compound interest isn't some magical force of nature. It's a mathematical process that is easily disrupted by things they conveniently leave out. Adversary number 1. Inflation, the silent thief. The first enemy is inflation. While your money is supposedly compounding at 7%, inflation is working in the background, silently eating away at what your money can actually buy. If your investment earns 7% in a year, but inflation is 4%, your real return is only 3%. That million-dollar nest egg you're hoping for in 30 years? In today's money, it might only be worth half that. Here's a simple example. Put $10,000 into an account that earns 5%. After a year, you have $10,500. But if inflation is running at 6%, your money's buying power has actually dropped to the equivalent of $9,870. You lost ground while thinking you gained. Think of it like you're trying to walk up an escalator that's moving down. You're taking steps, but the escalator is moving against you. You might still go up, but it's a slow, exhausting grind. For many, inflation moves so fast they end up going backward, all while thinking they're making progress. Adversary number 2. Taxes and fees, the leaky bucket. Next are taxes and fees, the perpetual leaks in your financial bucket. Every time you get a dividend or sell an investment for a profit, the government takes its cut. That 8% return you celebrated? After taxes, it might only be 6%. But it's worse than just the dollar you lost. You also lose everything that dollar could have become. These small 1% or 2% fees don't just cost you 1% a year. Over 30 years, they can eat up nearly 30 to 40% of your total returns. Your compounding bucket isn't just fighting inflation, it's riddled with holes. Adversary number 3. High-interest debt, the great uncompounder. This is the adversary that shatters the dream for millions. While you're trying to earn 8% on your investments, you might be paying 22% on a credit card. Compound interest is a double-edged sword. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Take a $5,000 balance at today's average 24% credit card rate. If you only make minimum payments, it can take 17 years to pay off and cost nearly $9,000 in interest alone. That's compound interest working in reverse, and it's devastating. Trying to invest while carrying high-interest debt is like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain wide open. Any gains you make are wiped out by the powerful force of negative compounding working against you. This is the brutal reality the Save Your Way to Millions story ignores. If any of this is sounding painfully familiar, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells the algorithm that this is a conversation we need to be having. And subscribe for more honest talk about money, because we're about to get into what the wealthy do differently. So if compound interest is such a flawed path, how do the wealthy use it? Simple. They don't use it to create their wealth. They use it to amplify the wealth they've already built. Here's the playbook. Secret number 1. They focus on principle, not just patience. The financial gurus love to talk about time and rate of return, but they whisper about the most important variable, the principle. Compounding is a multiplier. If you multiply a small number, you get a slightly less small number. If you multiply a massive number, you get a staggering result. Let's be clear. 10% of $1,000 is $100. 10% of $1 million is $100,000. One barely buys dinner, the other is life-changing. The wealthy understand this. Their primary focus isn't saving an extra $100 a month. Their focus is on drastically increasing their income to create a massive principal. They build businesses and create cash flow that lets them invest tens of thousands at a time. They aren't trying to fill a swimming pool with a dropper. They're using a fire hose. And history backs this up. Warren Buffett, the poster child of compounding, made 95% of his fortune after age 60, because by then, his principal was already massive. Compounding didn't make him rich. It kept multiplying what he already had. Secret number 2. They defeat the adversaries first. Before they dream of that upward curve, the wealthy wage war on the 3 adversaries. They use sophisticated strategies to legally minimize taxes, so their money can compound uninterrupted. They treat high-interest debt like a plague, knowing a guaranteed 22% loss is financial suicide. They either use debt smartly, to acquire assets that produce more income than the debt costs, or they avoid it. And they don't let their money sit in cash to be eaten by inflation. They put it to work in assets designed to outpace it. They aren't just saving, they are actively managing and protecting their capital. Secret number 3. They invest in themselves for the highest return. This is the most important truth that gets lost. The single greatest investment you can make is not in the stock market, it's in yourself. The wealthy know that developing a high-income skill will provide a far greater return, much faster than saving small amounts for 40 years. Learning a skill that can increase your income by $50,000 a year gives you a massive surplus to invest. That is the true accelerator. You can't compound your way out of a low income. You have to earn your way out. Once you have a high income and a large principal, then, and only then, does compound interest begin to work its supposed magic. It becomes the engine for wealth preservation and amplification, not the lottery ticket for wealth creation. So, is compound interest a lie? No, not mathematically. But the story they tell you about it is. The narrative that you can just save a little here and there and become a millionaire is deeply misleading because it ignores the real-world forces of inflation, taxes, and debt that cripple the average person's efforts. The truth is, compound interest is not a great equalizer. It's a great amplifier. It makes the rich richer. It makes the person with a huge principal unstoppable. For the person starting from zero, it's a slow, frustrating crawl. But this isn't a message of despair. It's a message of empowerment. Stop believing the fairy tale and start focusing on what actually works. Stop focusing on saving pennies and start focusing on increasing your income. Kill your high-interest debt with a vengeance. Learn about taxes. Build your principal so that you have a real army of dollars to send out into the world. When you do that, you're no longer playing their game. You're playing your own. And that's when you finally give compounding the fuel it needs to work for you, instead of against you. If this opened your eyes, Make sure to hit the like button so more people see this message, and subscribe for more videos that cut through the myths about money and wealth. And tell me in the comments, do you think compounding is overrated, or has it actually worked for you? I want to hear your story. This is MindCraft, where ideas become action, and action becomes your future.